Out of the Blue, proudly brought to you by San Remo. Another surprise!
Out of the blue,
You want that with fries?
out of the blue. Come with me across the sea on a barbecue. We're gonna cook for you.
Nothing but blue skies!
Out of the blue,
You want some chili with those fries?
out of the blue.
Hi and welcome to the program. Today we take you on a journey not that far from Adelaide to the quaint and beautiful seaside town of Port Elliot.
Today, we cook a tasty silver whiting and pasta dish and a packed South Coast fish stew.
We chat to a couple who have single-handedly rescued a portion of seaside vegetation.
But first, Michael catches up with a font of knowledge, Lorraine, about Port Elliot.
Lorraine has lived in Port Elliot for most of her life. I'm meeting her for coffee at Thunderbirds. Now Lorraine, tell me about the fabulous history of Port Elliot and where did it all start?
Well, the River Murray played a very big part in the establishment here because the settlers in the Upper Murray, of course, they were growing their wheat, their wool and other produce, and they had no way of getting this away from their towns other than by the river. Of course, when they got to Galway, they had to negotiate the Murray mouth, which was in the rough weather, very rough. Of course, the shipping was only very small and light, and occasionally the mouth silted up, which meant a hold up in the delivery of their goods. But in 1849, the government had surveyed between Galway and Port Elliot, and they considered that 7 miles of railway would be the way to go. £20,000 was allocated to build the railway, 7 mile of railway, and establish all the buildings at Galway and at Port Elliot. So the first horse-drawn rail carriage set out from Galway in May 1854.
That would have been a big day.
Oh, I believe that they let go to the sound, a blast, very loud blast of a trumpet.
Okay.
The produce was then able to be transferred on the railway down to the seaport at Port Elliot. It was very soon realised that Port Elliot was not going to be the seaport of the province because at the end of the jetty, which was proposed to be 100 feet long, was only 6 foot deep and was not a suitable depth for shipping to come in. There were 7 shipwrecks, and that, of course, caused a lot of concern. The merchants were losing faith in coming into Port Elliot, and so they commenced the extension of the railway line through to Port Victor. The majority of the historic buildings in the Strand are still here, and they were built very early. It's really great to be able to walk up the street and say, well, we've still got this.
Now Lorraine, there's something very special here. There's a clock that your family had something to do with. Tell us about that.
Yes. Well, St Jude's Church, the first part was built in 1854. The 2 upper stories were not completed until 1937. And about that time, the architect put 4 holes in the tower. What was that for?
What was it for?
Every town must have a town clock. And one was imported from England. When they sent the clock out, there'd be very simple instructions of how to put it together. So it arrived in Port Adelaide.
Almost like a flat pack.
A DYO. My grandfather, he was a carpenter, he offered to put it together, which he did. And at the age of 80 years, he put the clock in the tower.
Now, does it still work?
Oh, yeah.
Does it?
It certainly does, yeah. It's wound by my son. It's an 8-day clock. So he goes up once a week.
Does he really?
Yeah, and winds the clock.
The official one
It's a
winder.
Yes.
Lorraine, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
After the break, Michael whips up a stunning pasta recipe. I've always liked the work that volunteers do, and every now and then you come across a special project, especially with land care. And I'm in awe at just the difference two people can make to an area. Today we're looking at this green cove here. Deb and Ian, you look after it from a land care point of view. Why the interest in this area?
We'd always walk the dogs around the slate path in Port Elliot. It was very degraded, not much of the native vegetation there. A lot of gazanias and weeds and sea lavender. It just looked really sad and it needed some help.
So one day you both decided, look, we've got to do something about this. How'd you go about it though? Did you have to get permission or what?
Originally we started off just putting a few boobiella and some other plants in. Then
you were planting with Bronson?
Yeah, I was planting at Basham's in a planting bee, and talked to local council man, and he said we could go ahead and do it and they'd help us a bit.
And Deb, you're pointing out to me that now some of the plants that you planted are self-sowing.
Yes, yes.
I mean, that must be a thrill.
Oh, it
to
is.
See that.
It's wonderful because that was only last year that we noticed that. And so that's really heartening because we want to get it to the point where it can be self-sustaining.
Is it a thankless job or do you get great satisfaction out of it?
Oh, we get so much satisfaction. It's absolutely a labour of love and we're always enthusiastic and looking forward to next year and getting on to a next section. We just talk about it a lot and it's just something we really love. It's responding so well because you'll clear gazanias away from one plant, it'll grow bigger and take up more area.
A guesstimate, how big's the area that you're looking after? Just so that our viewers can get some idea. It'd be acreage, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. I've never really thought about it.
It's quite big, but when you've gone on through the years, it starts to get smaller because you can work out what bush is taking up more area and
Keep up the good work. You're very special people. I take my hat off to you.
Thank you, Michael. But yeah, hopefully some other people will see that it can be done. And
There are another group down at Green Bay,
Yeah.
I mean down at Watson's Gap that do the same thing. So if people were interested, you know, like you could just adopt a small, stretch
Small
of
area and do it.
coastline,
Well, look,
contact
exactly.
the council, contact the NRM and you could do something similar quite easily.
Exactly what you did.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for your time today.
thanks, Michael.
A short drive from Port Elliot is the beautiful Horseshoe Bay. I asked Michael to meet me there for today's first recipe, spaghetti and silver whiting.
I love silver whiting. Now, Michael, what's the difference between silver whiting and King George?
About $10 a kilo.
Now, you're going to debone this.
I'm
You've
going
already done the filleting
Yes.
yourself.
So when you buy it from your fishmongers, it's got the wing on and the pin bone in.
Yeah.
So firstly, a very sharp knife, a very secure board.
Yeah.
So just cut
Oh,
that,
yeah, okay.
because that's all very bony. And Mickey, if you want to feel
okay.
along there, you can feel the pin bone.
Yes, you
and
can.
then stop about
Yes,
there.
Yes.
Again, a sharp knife because you want to minimise how much meat you take off. So you just do a V cut.
Oh,
just
I
cut
love
there.
it when you do that. You should have been a surgeon.
I tried to, but I didn't do chemistry at school.
Greek surgeon.
There we are, and that's it. There's your pin bone.
Yep. Do a bit of olive oil.
Bit of olive oil. See, the pan's hot. So I reckon we can put about 4 fillets, and I'm going to get you to season the fillets with a bit of pepper and salt, of course.
Okay.
My dad always taught me, always salt your fish before you cook it. When you see a fish in a batter or crumbs, you've already sealed the surface. So when you salt it, the salt's on top. Mickey, that's about a minute and a half, just very gently. Flip them over. Now, look at the colours of this.
Yes.
So, Mickey, can I have the flat plate?
Flat.
So I can keep this fish nice and flat. Look at that. Whoops. There we go.
When you serve fish like that, should it be the flesh up
Yeah, I
rather
think
than skin?
Absolutely. The garlic?
That enough?
I think so. There's nothing left, so that has to be enough.
Pepperoncino?
I wouldn't use all that chilli,
No.
but
Say when?
a bit more. A little bit more. Just to keep you happy.
Okay, there we are.
Mickey, how about the olives? These beautiful Kalamata olives, which are grown in South Australia.
I know.
Lots of olive groves,
We
aren't there?
do it well, don't we, in South
We
Australia?
certainly do.
We've got that lovely Mediterranean climate. In fact, sometimes I think we've got a better Mediterranean climate than the Mediterranean.
And a little bit of
What about
Eden Valley,
half a
cold
cup?
climate.
Half a cup, you
Yeah,
reckon?
that should do it.
That about it?
That deglazes it, brings it all together, and we're going to evaporate the alcohol. Okay, Mickey, that's reduced, and here's
Now.
pre-cooked pasta, simple to cook. So
You
do I.
tell me how much.
Keep going, Mickey.
Oh, I cannot wait to try this out.
One more little bit.
One more little bitsy piecey.
See all those
weezy?
juices, that'll be taken up.
There we are.
Have a look at the selection that Mickey got from
Over here.
the garden.
I sort of got a little bit of rosemary, so we'll get some of that. Now this is Greek basil, and it's a little bit stronger than the normal basil, so be
Is that
careful
good
with
for
that.
pesto? Good for
Yeah,
maca?
might be a bit strong. A little bit of
Okay.
parsley. There's a bit of mint that's sort of suffered a little bit, so we'll get some of that. And I'm just going to just chop a few mixed together. Don't need much. Look at that. Right, there's
Perfecto.
the fish. Mix that in there. Don't overdo it with the herb.
There you have it, a spaghetti with silver whiting. Don't go away. After the break, we meet Olaf with his Pippi bite.
Hot and tasty, Goa Pippi.
Wandering the festivals in summer is Olaf and his Pippi bite, which transforms into a mobile kitchen. Olaf, what made you develop this, being a restaurateur?
I've been running restaurants and cafes down here on the south coast for over 20 years, and I've been, using cockles right from the beginning. And it was hard to flock a cockle on a plate. It just used to be bait. That's what 90% of the cockles went to bait. And luckily, through the company who've been marketing the cockles really well, they've turned it around, and it's actually 90% of the cockles that are caught here in Goa, they're going on a plate to restaurants. The idea was just to promote the Goa Pippi through a fun thing with a bike. You go out there on festivals, have a bit of fun. Kids love playing with that.
I bet they do.
They love riding my bike.
And just show me how simple it is.
It's a very simple recipe that we do here. Anyone can do it at home who's got a barbecue. You just get yourself some nice decent cockles. Make sure your barbecue is really hot. And I've got a couple of dishes in there. Depending on the heat you get in your barbecue, they take up to 10 minutes.
Up to 10 minutes.
And in the meantime, I'll make up some sauce. I've melted some butter and then softened some capers, garlic in the butter. Just let it cool down a bit. Add some lemon juice. You can smell the beautiful garlic
you
coming
certainly-
through. That's how you attract your customers. Pepper,
White pepper by the looks of it.
yeah, it's just a bit of a blend.
The Pippi season is
Here
open.
you go, you can see
Oh.
them popping open.
Oh, that took about 2 minutes, so it's a good heat
I
source.
had a really good heat
hot.
in here. It was really hot, yeah.
And the secret is not to overcook them,
No,
otherwise
just try as
you
soon as they
lose all
open
that
up,
liquid.
get them off the barbecue.
All their natural
The
juices.
juice is still in there,
Which
yeah.
is very, very important.
Our sauce into it.
So that's the serve?
That's usually about a serve.
That's
yeah.
serve.
And our herbs, my favorite herbs with those pippis here is tarragon. The flavor of it,
Okay.
the aniseedy flavor. And then at the end, a bit of lemon zest.
That's
Swirl them around.
fantastic. That's so quick and easy. That's quicker than cooking fish and chips.
Yeah.
How simple, how good is that? And they come up into a little box.
People ask me, how do you eat them? Because I just give them a napkin with it. I said, I
what-
call them the Goa oyster. You just
Yes,
suck them like
you
an
just suck
oyster. Have a bit of bread with it to suck up the juices, the sauce.
And there you are.
You better try one, Michael.
I will.
He likes them raw.
Oh, absolutely delicious. I better get some for Michael. But can I have some raw ones for our next recipe?
Yeah.
Where we're going to use a fish in a tomato-based stew. And these will be absolutely perfect.
Look at this.
Oh,
That be enough for you, Sue?
maybe.
You'll be
I
eating
can't
them all.
stop.
Here we are, another recipe for our...
Cockles, alive, alive, oh,
Oh,
singing cockles.
Hamburgers.
I have a little present for you, my friends. Some of those beautiful Gulwa pippies that Olaf cooked. I gave you the raw one. I come the raw one with me. No, here we are. We're going to use those in our Port Elliot fish stew. But there you are, Mickey. Simply cook a bit of lemon zest and tarragon. Aren't they terrific? Now, Mickey.
What are you cooking?
South Coast fish stew. I need some oil.
Oil.
Some beautiful
Say
oil.
when?
Yeah, we want a bit of a slope, so a bit more. That should do it. Some of that garlic that you chopped up. Oh, it doesn't take long to get the aromatics of the oil and the garlic, does it? And then we're going to put in the sofrito.
Sofrito, which is celery, carota, and a little bit of onion.
Onion. Put it in. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the lid on. Yeah. And that'll take quite a while with...
We'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. See you tomorrow. With a little bit of help from the commercial kitchen at the Flying Fish Gap, we've got it. Look at that. Oh, that's happening. So, Mickey, I reckon we've got to add the tomato.
Yep.
While we've got all that heat.
Now, tomato's going to kill the heat a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
I won't tip it in because there'll be a lot of juice in the bottom. Or do you want that?
Yeah, we want that because we need a stew, so we need some pepper, lots of pepper. Mickey. And then give it a good mix, and then I'll put the lid back on.
What about the concentrate tomato?
We need a little bit of that as well. That should, oh yeah, plenty.
Mix it around?
Yep. And that's going to form the base of our stew. Put that on.
Look
Mickey,
at that.
oh look at that. That's what we wanted. Now Mickey, I'm going to put in the fish.
You want to put this on first?
Yes, can you season that? Yep. There we are, and we're going to...
Have a look at that.
There we are.
So a little sprinkle on top?
Yeah, on all of them, just a little dip. And I'm going to use all these pippies.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yep. Well, that's probably a couple of hundred, about 200-300 grams.
Right, okay. And there's more?
The Eden Valley Riesling, that Seppelsfield Riesling.
The wine that makes a difference.
There's difference.
Now you say when.
Yeah, just go around the edges.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Thank you.
Beautiful. Easy.
After the break, we match the finished dish with a fabulous wine. That.
Oh,
look at that. The pippies have opened up.
A little bit of
lemon juice, a little bit of lime juice. That is enough for 4 people. This is our South Coast fish stew.
Michael, that's a beautiful dish that you cooked up there.
And what wine have you matched it with?
Well, I thought a beautiful Riesling from Eden Valley, a little bit cooler, a little bit more acid in the grapes, and that one in particular, their Seppelsfield Riesling, suits that down to a T. That's not chilled. You could have it a bit colder, but not too cold, because you wouldn't miss some of the lovely apple-y flavour it's got. It still tastes nice, but if you're looking for flavours in a wine, then it can be knocked out by just being too cold.
I've picked up a lot of citrus.
Citrus, apple.
Apple, and the citrus is perfect.
It's a bit like Tony and Mark's fruit and veg shop. It's got a bit of everything in it. No, seriously, it has, hasn't it?
It has.
That's what you get from those areas. It's still a bit cooler in the Barossa Valley. A wonderful wine to go with your dish.
No, you've done well. Cheers.
Chin chin.
Chin chin. Salute. Well, that's our show for today.
It has. All the years we've been filming Out of the Blue, all the episodes, all around Australia, all around South Australia, all around the world, we've never been to Port Elliot.
Will they have us back again?
They'd love to have us back.
I'll be back. I'd be happy for another invitation.
And what about, you could be anywhere in the world. Seriously, take our word for it.
But they're not going to get a fish stew South Coast.
Or a Seppelsfield Riesling.
Yummy.
I'll keep it.
Oh. Out of the Blue, proudly brought to you by San Remo.